Trapper Loke here with the Trapper Loke podcast. Call it what you want. TWT Talks with Trap. I have a special guest today by the name of Cisko. You see him on Instagram as official Cisko, CN the Shot. Many more, man. Many. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
This guy.
All right, Cisko. Where are we right now?
We are at A Pockets Production, say it how you want to say it, but that's where we're at, Visalia, California.
Visalia, California. All right, so A Pockets Production, here we are. They have this podcast set up. This is supposed to be, how would you explain this company that we got going here?
Basically a multimedia company. So we're doing video stuff here, photography, studio work, and the podcast stuff. So we'll be building sets as well, so just basically a media company.
Media company. So for any of you creators,
tap in.
Hello. All right, man. Let's get to these questions that I got here for you. All right. First thing that I see right here, for those who don't know, me and Cisko have a song together called "Get It Done." I wanted to talk about how that came about because I think that was kind of an interesting story. This was for the Northern Art Exposure Volume 1. I think I gave you a call. Where were you at? You were in Chicago or something at the time, huh?
Yeah, first time going out to Chicago. Had gone out to visit some family when you hit me up. But fortunately, I have a cousin out there. You know, he raps and he had a little setup, so I was able to get it done still.
Yeah.
Shout out to my cousin Julian.
Pun intended. The song is called "Get It Done."
Yep, we got it done.
Yeah, we were able to get it done. Yeah, it was short notice. I think the deadline for the tracks were coming in. They gave me the call and they're like, "Yo, if you don't got it by today, pretty much, or me and you we think we had about 3 days to pull that together." Shout out Chris Biyakiyama on the beat. He pulled that together in about a day or two. I had a verse and a possibility of a hook, and we just kind of made it happen. Gave Cisko the call, said, "Hey man, deadline's here," and we got it done.
Got her done.
So if y'all haven't heard that, go give it a listen. All right, man. All right, so the way I set these up is, man, I have plenty of questions for you, but let's start from the past, present, and the future, right? So starting in the past, I'm pretty sure, I know I've kind of heard the story, but I know some viewers who haven't heard the story, man. How did you start rapping?
Basically, one of my homies used to rap, and I was one of those, if he could do it, I could do it. So I kind of followed suit, but it was just for myself. And then that led to me, that was so long ago, there wasn't, at least not that I can remember, there was no Google. We had Yellow Pages.
Wow.
So I started searching for a studio, and we went from doing karaoke machines to, I don't know if you're probably not even familiar, you're too young. They used to have these boom boxes first that literally said mic and had a little hole. And that was the mic. We would get one radio, play the tape with the beat on it, have the other radio, and then we would rap the song. And that's how we did our first recordings on tape.
Man.
Before I went to the Yellow Pages, found out there was a studio. Went there, it was called Southwest Recording Studio, which I don't think they're around anymore. Well, at least not the location where we did it at. And then that just led to tape to CD to do it at the studio, getting me signed to a little independent label, and went from there.
Wow. Talk about making things happen, huh?
Yeah.
And here you are now, and
now I'm the guy, the engineer.
Yeah, I wanted that was one of my other questions too. Do you remember like when you first started, like got into engineering, you know? Like how did that come about?
The studio where I used to go to, the guy's name was Rick Thomas. I would go to him, and I would record there, and then he would, I would actually show up to sessions that weren't even my sessions, just pop up. If he was recording somebody, I'd go and sit in with him, and it just always caught my interest. But he had all kinds of analog gear, which was all hardware stuff. So it'd just be cool to sit in there, and I wasn't recording or nothing. I just liked what he was doing, so I'd watch him.
Observing.
And then I ended up buying my own little portable recorder, the Roland VS 1880. Anyone who's been recording knows those existed, and I had one, and in Hanford, in the area there, nobody had one, at least not that I knew of. So then people started coming to me, and that's how I started getting my foot in the door as far as recording other local people.
Wow. Many moons later.
And I still have that damn thing in my studio. So
That's a how would you
It's a
say?
little antique.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. More of a personal memento of the journey you've been on. So yeah, speaking of it, so you're an engineer, you're a graphic designer, a videographer, gosh, content creator, influencer. When I was trying to describe you, I said, man, you're a jack of all trades, aren't you?
Try to be, but one thing I tell everybody is if you like doing it, do it, but don't do it just a penny pinch. Because I got people who will, they want to learn stuff, and I'm not saying I'm the best at everything I do, but I do try my best to do everything that I do, and sometimes it doesn't work out for some people, and they try to save that extra buck, and which is fine, but do it because you love it. Because I feel like me as an artist, I lost the I lost to an extent where once I started doing everything else, I like doing it more than I like being the artist, and that's why I wasn't making music as consistent. So like some people they want to learn. Why do I want to learn recording? Because I don't want to pay somebody, and I'm
Okay.
like, there's a saying I didn't make it up that says, "Do what you do best and delegate the rest."
Okay. Oh wow, I
So
never heard that
I
one.
learned to do it all just because I actually liked it, not because I wanted to save money. At the time when I was learning, I was selling dope. Money wasn't an issue, so I did it because I just liked doing the
Had the interest
graphics.
for
Yeah.
it, yeah, and the knack for it. Yeah, I know some people. I think I've seen something like that. They're like, man, I think I seen a video and it was saying like you should learn how to record everything yourself because you'll save so much money. Think about how much money you spend going to these sessions, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna put it in their hands because that's not my field, you
I
know.
think the recording I would say maybe, but it's the
Yeah,
mixing.
I could generally record, but yeah, I could record
I
myself,
have
get levels,
I've
but
always told everyone my own kids growing up. When my kids were young, I would have them. Couple, they were old enough, 5, 6 years old. Just hit record. I would set everything up. Just hit record. So I mean, anyone can record. The magic is in the mix, the
yeah,
mastering.
don't make your levels spike. Just
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I got.
But yeah, after that, if it takes years and you never learn it all. You'll. I got guys now who aren't that much younger than me who are trying to still learn now because the game changed. Before it was different. You had to go to a studio. Now if you could just go buy the software, learn it. Yeah. So I mean, if you actually like doing it, yeah, learn it, but don't do it just because you're being
What's
a
that? Say that saying again.
do what you do best and delegate the rest.
Delegate the rest. Leave it in the pros' hands, man. All right, man. So, what was the first music video you shot? Do you recall? Like, how did that come about?
First one, I want to say that one. I think it was Villain Loco.
You don't
I
say.
believe so. And I met him through Chris Anthony,
So,
who was Lil Chris back then.
little
He
Chris.
shot a video for them, and then Villain reached out to do another video one time, and that's what I think that was the first actual video I shot.
So you were a photographer before you were a videographer.
Yeah, and I never wanted to be a photographer. My daughter was doing some little acting thing that was in Fresno, and we signed her up. She was going, and we did some little headshots. I had a camera that I bought, but it was just so I could take pictures of artists when I was doing the graphics. So I liked the graphics.
Ah, okay, okay.
I took these headshots of my daughter. The people there like, oh, whoever shot these photos, they did a good job. I'm like, well, we shot them and then posted them online. But we were posting them online to show that my daughter was doing something. And all of a sudden I get phone calls or messages, saying, how much do you charge? I'm like, I'm not even a photographer,
Cha-ching!
but I charge X amount. First person I charged, they didn't question it. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm a photographer now.
And that stamped him.
And it went from little baby flashes to now I have a lot of, the soft boxes, the stands, all the whole work. So
That's
it
amazing. That's
worked
amazing.
its way.
Hey, when life calls, you gotta answer.
Yep.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh man, I have one of these questions right here because still in regards to the past and when you first started making music, and I'm not gonna lie, I remember my brother always bumping Cisko and Jessica. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering how did that come about? Was that your song idea? And what songs do you guys have together? Was it the Me Without You? That's the one that's in my head.
There's a whole album.
Okay.
Me Without You is one of the songs.
For sure.
A
My
friend,
brother bumped that a lot.
yeah, a friend of Jessica's actually. I had a little website. Now I sound like them people, them little haters. Like, oh, you still got that little car? No, I had a website back then that was under proudbychoice.com, and it's not my website no more. So don't go to that website. People used to submit photos, and I would post them as fan photos. And one of her friends actually reached out and said that she had a friend that sings. So they she brought it through whatever, and then I ended up meeting her parents, and we had a little 1 year agreement, and
Okay.
that was like the only person that I actually had under any kind of contract, and it was more because I just didn't want to ever hold no one back. She recorded a bunch of songs. I happened to be on pretty much all of them. So when it came down to release it, she was like, "Well, let's just put out as or like both of us." And I'm like, "Well, we're not a group." And then she's like, "Yeah, but it's all of us. We're both on them." So we just stuck with our names,
Yeah.
Cisko and Jessica.
Wow. Yeah. Honestly, that's one thing that I remember. That's from my childhood right there, man. My brother be bumping that
Yeah,
shit.
it's crazy. When I did that album, I had a song called "Promise Me," which is one of my favorites of my own. Only because why I made the beat and I played all the
Oh,
keys,
wow.
which I don't know how to play the piano, but you play by ear. And I made the beat, I did the recording, did the work, so like, and I actually liked the song. But ever since that, homies would hit me up and they'd ask for a feature. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get on some gangster stuff. Send me a love beat. So for a good while, that's all I was doing, love songs. I'm like, and which is good though, because that kind of opened up, to get me to do stuff, which now is why I'm still able to still release music now, because I try to stay within my age. I still, if you normally see me out now, it's because I'm conducting business, but I still show up places, and I don't act like I'm better than nobody.
Yeah.
So, but that lets me still be able to rap without trying to rap about being I'm some youngster on the street still.
Yeah, man. All right, so that's bringing us to the present, I would believe. So what moves are you currently making? What are we going to see from Cisko this year? What's coming soon? What you got going on?
My main focus, I would say, is more behind these cameras, just as a business, to expand my business. But because so many people have asked over the years, are you coming out with something new? I've released singles here and there, and I never really market them. I just kind of put them out. So this year, I do have songs in the works, and I'm thinking of releasing something. But the thing is, people knew me as P.B.C, which is Proud by Choice, which is no longer existent as a group. So what people don't know is, or a lot of people wouldn't know, is that P.B.C was never existed on paper. When I signed, there was no P.B.C. I signed as me, myself, a solo artist, but I put the album out as a group. So then I was like, maybe I should just put it out and use the name, because in reality, I am P.B.C. So I was like, that way people don't confuse, because I've had people actually ask me, oh, whatever happened to Inocente? What happened to... But I'm like, it's the same person.
Yeah.
But
What's funny is part of my introduction, I was gonna that was one of the introductions that I was gonna use. You may know him as Official Cisko, you may know him as Cisko from P.B.C, but I was like, you know what, I wanted to go with something more current with what you got going on now.
well, see, and that's another reason I still want. I was thinking of dropping something, because I go out to these. I shoot videos, and I'll go out to events, and sometimes it has nothing to do with rap. Like, for example, Albert, who owns the building here, or he's the man in charge here. He does shows, and I've gone to film for him for his events, or my boy DJ Cheetos. Shout out DJ Cheetos. I've gone to his events, and people will see me, and they'll come up to me, and I'm there with working behind the camera, and they're coming up to me, recognize me at these other events. So it's a good feeling when you're at somebody else's event, another little concert, basically, well, some kind of concert, and people are coming up to me like, oh shoot, and I'm sure other people are like, well, who's this camera guy? Why are people going up to him?
But yeah, so. Nice. Speaking of you and music, I wanted to ask the relationship between you and Lil Nate. I feel like you guys are kind of clink. You guys are buds. I don't know. You guys drop a lot of music together. I know he's always recording with you. Seems like you guys have a pretty tight relationship. I was just wondering how it started and how it's going.
I was actually locked up with one of his uncles.
Okay.
And he rapped too, but he's a few years older than me. So I don't remember how we actually got in contact, but that's what kind of usually when I work with people, it's somebody knows somebody. I don't just like my studio has always been at home, and so like whoever comes there, it's like some of them are strangers to an extent, but somebody knows somebody. So like when I don't remember who hit who up or how we actually linked up, but he started coming through and we just hit it off from the beginning, and now I'm just trying to like he's like he's making other moves. But me and him have our own projects that we work on and have our own little deal that we got, working on. So that's why we're able to work a lot together.
Shout out Lil Nate. Man, so speaking of how you guys met, I'm trying to wonder how we met. You know what? So I don't know how we met, but I do recall I have this one memory of you, man. It's like when I first started releasing music, and you took me to your house, and I remember you were just trying to game me up. And this when I was still a little knucklehead in the streets, and you're like, "Look, man, you're all this." You just wanted to show me some of the stats, and you're like,
we need to put that little video clip we did in the bedroom studio there.
Yep, I recall.
What was it called?
I think I had that 64 bars with my cousin Santos. I think I rapped that.
I had a little video where we actually recorded in the room.
Like, yeah,
that's how far back I've been.
My hair was about this long.
Yeah. I remember that. Yep. I seen that pop up on Facebook the other day.
I think I don't know if I had got locked up yet, or maybe I went to jail once or something. But you were trying to guide me. You were like, "Hey, man, like, you know what I mean? Get your head out the streets and look." You showed me you showed me some stats of yours, and you're like, "Look, you could actually make money on this stuff," And I obviously was still a knucklehead and did my time. And
yeah, I was trying to like steer people in the right direction without sounding like a weenie, pretty much.
Right.
Where it's like, do as I say, not as I do. But like me, I'm always, I'm old enough to not like saying my age. If you followed me long enough, I'm not that young. So I always look at it like I got kids that are probably your age. So if I don't want to, if it's not advice I would give them, then I don't feel like I should be giving somebody else's kids that advice. I don't care if you're 20, 30 years old. I still wouldn't want my 20 or 30-year-old doing something like that.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of labeled you as an influencer as well. And I feel like that's kind of where me and you relate. I don't know. I feel like we have a following that listens to us, a crowd, whatever. And I try to give advice too, just like, hey, man, find out what your thing is and go hard at it.
Yeah.
You don't got to be out here in the streets and yada, yada, but that don't change who you are as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could still push this positivity note, and I think times are changing, man. You're not looked at as it's like, oh, man, he's goody. It's like, nah, man, I'll still fucking knock you out, but hey, man, that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what life's about. Let's find out what you love in life, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and go after it. I think people need to find out what they love and make a business of it.
I've been to shoots where I'm doing a video shoot, and sometimes you're like, maybe I shouldn't be here. And then something happens, and they're like, hey, bro, you could leave. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to get you into something. Like, I'm already here. Like,
yeah.
So that's why I say, like, do as I say, not as I do. But yeah, I'm always trying to, who said it? I think it was Kevin Gates said it best, though. If I need a gun to be somewhere, I don't need to be there. So that's kind of one role I'm always kind of thinking in my head, like, so that's how I stay out of trouble and be able to wiggle. I go with my other boy, Stenna, shout out Stenogram. We go on a lot of shoots when we're in LA, but we're there to do business. We've never had no issues. And usually those shoots are, with bigger companies. So they're, there's actually, it's not no ghetto shoots when I'm working with him.
It's all legit.
So
nice. Hey, man, Happy New Year, Cisko.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year.
So do you have any goals set for 2024?
Just not just continue to do what I'm doing, just reach a larger scale, like step up to another level. For example, today, actually, I can't say who called me, but it was they're an older artist, but their manager called me today, and I was like, I did work for them before, but it's been a while, so I'm looking, I was like, maybe he butt dialed me. Then it leaves a voicemail, and I'm like, he's telling me this, I got this going on for this artist, and it's somebody I used to listen to, so that's crazy. Like they're from back in my day, but to me it's still like they still continue to do stuff. So when I get calls like that, it's like it gives me hope that they're still a way bigger scale. Like music videos, that's like play money. I'm trying to reach a larger scale where I'm shooting, doing I wouldn't say less work, but doing higher paid work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take my skill set to another level so that I can reach another financial bracket.
Always growing, man. Always growing.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. What else? All right. So I have this question right here. Um. Oh, wait, I reworded it. All right. If you could go back with all the knowledge that you currently know, what would you do different?
This falls back. If we're gonna keep it 100, this falls back to what people say. I have no regrets in life. They are damn liars. Cause I have a whole lot of regrets, but I can't change that. So, till the day I die, life is what it is.
Hmm.
But I would have done. I would have thought more. Like when I was selling dope, for example, I had all this money. I would have done more with that money, invested it into better things instead of, and hope maybe not have gotten locked up.
Right.
So if I would have had the same mindset, I've always had a business mindset though since I was a kid. From filling up a piggy bank, you know, my mom would tell you like I've always saved money, and had money, but I would have just turned that hustle, that illegal hustle, into a legit hustle a lot sooner.
Nice. Nice.
You know,
Hey, man. So yeah, if you could sell dope and you're a successful dope seller, you can run a business.
that's for real, for real.
So hey, man, let's go legit, and so where the cops can't harass you. Cheers to that.
Yep.
All right, man. Let's talk about fitness. Cisko be in the gym, huh?
I still try to get it. When I was locked up, anybody who's been locked up, when they knew I stayed working out. Was never all super big, but I was like, we had mandatory laps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running with 3 different people. You get your laps in? No, let's go. Because I've always liked it. It was never about getting big, but yeah, that's one thing. I'm not I don't try to be a fitness guru or health guru, but I do try to limit my calories to a reasonable things. I don't want to be all fat, and
Mindful.
I stay in the gym, and that's another thing I wish I would start doing at a young age.
Uh-huh.
I've always worked out, but not with the same mindset where, like, now I know, like, I can only get so big at my age without steroids, and I'm not going to take steroids.
Right.
But I do stay in the gym.
Yeah, I think, man, way back when I used to go to Just Lift as well. I think kind of when it first came around, I'd see you in there and you're throwing some plates on that bench, man. How much is Cisco bench?
My max was 275, but then I don't really and if you knew how small of a guy I am, they would understand why
That's big money.
why I got the applause.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But no, yeah, I cut back on that though. I'm not really trying to power lift no more at all. Like my goal originally was like I want to hit, throw 3 plates on that, and I think I was on the right path. But then I started questioning, dude, you're getting older. Stop. Now I'm more like, nah, just throw enough weight on there to get a good pump.
There you go, man. There you have it. Well. All right, I got another question right here. You know what? There's 2 questions. We're getting close to the end of time, but I know we did skip a little bit. What would be more interesting? All right, I think it's a good question right here. What are some memorable moments through your illustrious career? What is something that you remember? You're like, man, like I really love this. I did this. I performed here, or I recorded this.
Best one. It was a show in Lindsay at the Fox Theater.
Ooh.
And that show, even though it was in a small town, I wish to this day I had that video. One of my daughter's moms had it, and they apparently recorded over it. I got locked up, and I was fighting a case at the time. The guys hit me up, and they had told me if I was willing to perform. They gave me a date, and I said, you know what, if I'm here, I'll do it. But I'm fighting a case. I'm out on bail. I don't know if I'll be here. I made it to the show. When we pulled up, our names was on the, on the Fox Theater lights. So
The marquee.
we get there, go inside, whatever, and it was cool with my mom and them. They used to be really supportive, and they we were 20 maybe. I want to say about 20. They showed up selling. We had shirts and our CDs, so they were selling merch, and we were headliners. So that was a good feeling to know. In those days, we were able to sell out the little, even though a small venue, we still, just to see it packed
house.
And they were there. I mean, obviously for the other artists as well, but no, we were the headliners of the show. and seeing your name up there. That's and not just that. When we're walking from the front of the building, I'm not thinking I'm anybody. So I walk out, go out the side of the building to go to the back. I guess that's where the artists were in the back. I come on, people are stopping me, wanting to take pictures. I'm like, that was when I first said like, oh shoot, people actually know us like that, and so that's a good feeling.
Is this back when they had the, when you go to like Walgreens and buy the little throwaway cameras?
They had those, but 8 millimeter camera. I had even back then I had a camera, but
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to film but I bought one just because like we had shows to do, and I wish I had that tape.
Man. Well, Cisko, I think we're at about our time, man. Is there anything you would like to say to our viewers before we go?
Just the usual. Subscribe, follow, official Cisko on everything. Follow Trapper
On wherever it may be, Trapper Loc on Instagram with an underscore. Man, we got this podcast going on. I don't even got a name for it yet, but
I'm gonna try to do more. People always ask me about me doing my stuff. It's not official again. I'm always saying what I do is the Not a podcast, which is under the Cisko Uncut stuff. But I do plan to have guests of my own coming into this location. Today he took my seat. But I do plan to do interviews, but it's more of a trying to get any kind of creator, anybody who's doing a side hustle or a hustle. It doesn't have to be full time, but as long as you're using a skill to make money, those are the people that I want to bring on. And I know you mentioned doing the same as well, and so like we're on the same page. But I feel like even if we both do it, it's not really competing because we're two different age groups, so it works out. And that's what's good that we're here today, because like nobody can say, oh look, they're copying each other. No, we're here today with the same similar mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
So
indeed,
we can go back to this video if anybody ever says I copied you or you copied me. Like, shut the hell up.
Yeah, there's an abundance of eyes out there for everybody to see. So, hey man.
And on that note, less hating, more creating.
And that's a wrap.